Hey team, welcome back. We are back with our NSE4 journey. Tonight we went ahead and finished the routing section. Um, we had consecutive lab days all last week. The week prior, we went ahead and went over the theory of routing as it relates to Fortinet, right? And it was a great presentation. Please look over your study guides, your Fortinet NSE study guides. Please look over that. Now we are going to jump in to a theory called software-defined wide area networking, or in short, SD-WAN. Okay. All right. So after completing this section, right, what you should be able to achieve is you should be able to go ahead and show competence in being able to identify use cases, right, for SD-WAN, right? You should be able to identify the implementation requirements for SD-WAN, right? You should be able to configure SD-WAN zones, members, and load balancing, okay? And last but not least, you should be able to go ahead and configure static routes and firewall policies for SD-WAN, okay? So what is it, right? What is SD-WAN, right? In short, right, if we look at our diagram, it is a virtual interface consisting of a group of member interfaces, okay, that can be connected to different link types, okay? All right? And those interfaces are just interfaces on your firewall, right? Okay? That are added to a group under your SD-WAN configuration section. And we'll go over it within the lab, okay? Fortigate groups all the member interfaces into a single virtual interface. And you'll see how it looks once we get into the lab, right? And that single interface is called the SD-WAN interface, okay? Using SD-WAN simplifies configuration because the administrator can configure a single set of routes and firewall policies to apply to them to all member interfaces. There can be only one SD-WAN interface per VDOM, or per virtual domain. And we'll talk about virtual domains in the next section, okay? All right? So why SD-WAN, right? So one of the main motivators for deploying SD-WAN is it's effective WAN use, right? So when you are using multiple WAN links, right? You want to get the most out of your links, right? You want to see why and how you're using it, right? So, effective WAN use is achieved by using various load balancing algorithms, right? And you guys learned about that whenever we were speaking about equal cost multipath routing, right? And some of the load balance algorithms are similar, right? We saw them in equal cost multipath routing, right? So bandwidth usage, right? Sessions, application aware routing. It's a little bit more advanced in SD-WAN, right? Because again, it's software defined, okay? Another important feature of SD-WAN is link quality measurements, right? Using either a ping or an HTTP echo, right? That's going to be your measuring factor, right? That's going to be the forefront of being able to determine latency, jitter, or a packet loss percentage for each link, right? And dynamically select links based on these measurements, right? This ensures high availability for business critical applications, right? So for the example, you guys can see, right? Maybe we set up some rules, we set up some things in place that says, hey, for our faster links, right? For our organization, let's go ahead and use this one that's going to go to our SaaS applications, right? Office 365, Salesforce, right? We have a lot of end users that log into this, right? And our slower link, right? We can deal with some of the latency for maybe connecting to our data center, maybe connecting to our public cloud. We're perfectly fine with that, right? Because that's an as-need basis, right? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and keep going, right? So use cases, right? In this entire section, right, the chapter 2 of the infrastructure study guide, right, you will learn about SD-WAN use cases, right? For this slide, for example, right, it's similar to what I talked about, right? For this slide, right, the customer that we have here, right, they depend heavily on expensive, inflexible, right, MPLS. If you don't know about MPLS, go ahead. There's a couple of videos out there. I don't cover it on my channel, but there's a couple of good resources and Medium articles and blog articles in general where a lot of subject matter experts talk about it, right? So MPLS equates to expensive, okay? So all the traffic is routed through the MPLS circuit to the provider cloud, right? Then the public cloud or the internet based on the applications, okay? As mentioned earlier, there is no flexibility in this scenario. And yet, MPLS is an expensive solution for the customer. How can the customer add redundancy, flexibility, reliability, and most importantly, security? Because that's a big thing now, right? Without adding costly infrastructure, right? We'll talk about it in this section, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about it, right? So we're talking about MPLS, right? The customer that we're trying to work with, right? They want to keep MPLS for business critical applications, right? While adding flexibility and redundancy, right? MPLS is being used to send business critical traffic, for example, voice and video, based on the best path with less delay, jitter, or packet loss. In case the current path degrades below policy threshold, business critical traffic will be rerouted to a new tunnel. Okay. Also, non-critical traffic is load balanced across different lines to maximize bandwidth or minimize costs. At that same time, the branch can have direct secure access to the internet, which improves the cloud application performance and can load balance SaaS and IaaS content if needed. Okay. All right. So that's MPLS, right? With local breakout. Yeah, critical applications, voice and video, right? Best path is going to be chosen based on latency, jitter, and packet loss. Business apps is going to be load balanced, right? Okay. And, right, access to the internet is going to be load balanced, right? Critical apps can be redirected to a new tunnel in case we have a threshold, right? That's fine, right? Right, that's fine, right? And so typically, right, if we went ahead and switch this, and I'm actually missing a slide, so I'll go ahead and talk. If we were to switch this out with SD-WAN, right, MPLS being costly, we would go ahead and replace this, right? We replace this with two VPN tunnels, right, to go ahead and gain a robust and resilient, resiliency and redundancy, right? By replacing that MPLS, right? This is what's gonna happen for the customer, right? We're going to be able to minimize costs while maximizing quality. I'm going to say it again. Whenever we go ahead and switch out to SD-WAN, we're going to be able to minimize costs and maximize quality, right? The SD-WAN solution is a network application aware solution, right? And dynamically selects the best WAN to maintain a higher SLA, right? And SLA stands for, right? SLA stands for, give me 1 second. I'm actually getting a call. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I went ahead and got a call. So SLA, right, being the service level agreement, right? So we would be able to go ahead and have a higher SLA. We'll be able to promise more, like that 99.99 percentile, right, for WAN availability, right, for internet availability for our customers using SD-WAN, right, if they're implementing an SD-WAN configuration, right? So what I'm not going to do, I don't want to go over it because this is fun, right? Configuration is the fun part. We're not going to go over how to set it up. We'll go ahead and go over that tomorrow during Lab Fun Day, okay? Let's go ahead and talk about SD-WAN load balancing, right? And some of the methods, right? So SD-WAN load balancing, right, uses traffic distribution methods that are similar to those used by equal-cost multipath routing, okay? Right? They all use the same thing, except SD-WAN uses one more balancing method, and it's volume, right? So you see the same thing: source IP, destination IP, usage, right? You saw spillover, right? Session, right? Wait. Our new one is volume, right? And volume-based load balancing, what it is basically traffic is load balanced based on traffic volume in bytes, right? More traffic is sent to interfaces with higher volume ratios. Okay. And same as ECMP, right? We can go ahead and go to config system SD-WAN, and we can change the load balance mode by doing the command set load balance mode. And of course, we choose the load balance. Okay. Very simple. Very simple. Okay. All right. Here's a little bit of, a sneak peek of the configuration, right, for SD-WAN. So we're going to go over that, right? I don't want to go over any of the configuration types. We're going to go over that tomorrow, right? So we'll go through all of this, right? And then we'll go ahead and have our quiz tomorrow too, because we're going to circle back on Thursday and see what we learned, okay? And then, of course, Saturday and next week, we'll go ahead and finish out the theories, talk about SD-WAN performance, SLA, SD-WAN rules, and we'll talk about SD-WAN diagnostics, right? But that's our intro to SD-WAN, okay? Well, guys, thanks for joining, and you have a great day.